Woza. Talking Sundowns by SoccerBeat. Umjaka, you're hanging out with Ama Legends, Ama Sandawana Matota. Shakes Ngwenya, and of course, Kermit Erasmus. Romza. Gentlemen, I think Sundowns have declared and said, we are on this side. You guys, everybody else is on that side. They drew a line today. Super dominant performance. And they've really basically said, Ningasteleli ever again, Shek.
Yeah, the Sundowns up there, and then it's the rest down here. Clear indication that Sundowns are not willing to let go of this title. It's going to be another one in the bag again. They mean business. And starting off like that today, showing TS Galaxy that you guys had one over us just 2 weeks ago, and coming back and showing them early, just killing their hopes very early. In the game, dominant performance. Great to see the likes of your Rayners and Shalulile. Kermit always says it. That's the best lineup, Shalulile and Rayners, and just Rayners. So the decision making, quality. I'm really impressed with Rayners, his work rate and the things he does on the field. Even when he doesn't score, he's able to give those assists, to Shalulile, and it's great to see the strikers scoring goals.
You've always said, Kermit, you've always been vivaring here. Viva, Shalulile, viva.
Sure.
You never let us keep going.
You know the story.
Sure.
In the first minute, it was already decided. They like Shakes said, they meant business today. A perfect way to respond after defeat against TS Galaxy 2 weeks ago. So, first minute to get the lead. It's no better way, and then to get 4 goals at the end of the day. Business. Like Shakes said, they're opening the gap. Even though Pirates have games in hand, doesn't guarantee you 3 points. So they're just extending the lead and increasing the space. So it's going to be difficult.
And that's the way to do it, Umjaka. Games in hand. They know Pirates has got games in hand. There's also the Royal AM issue in the mix as well. But I want to get to that a little bit later about that, Kermit. But keep that in mind, Shaggy. I want to stay here with this strike partnership. Ribeiro could even afford to take a break today. Cardoso cannot mess with those 3 ever again. We saw it earlier on when, that's why Kermit was always saying, why are you benching Shalulile? But now it's a crucial stage of the season. Points need to be secured. We know Pirates are breathing, and they might get all those points of those games in hand. Let's assume they get all those points. There'll be a 3-point gap, which means the game between Sundowns and Pirates will be crucial, the second round game, right? But in this case, with these 3, these points are almost guaranteed, don't you think, Shaq?
Yeah, no, definitely has to be the best partnership. Out of all places on the field, when it comes to Sundowns, that one I'm 100% sure about. That's the partnership that needs to go on, That's the partnership that Sundowns should build with. Going on to Champions League, as we know, there's bigger fish to fry. There's Champions League, there's the Club World Cup. So definitely that lineup up front doesn't need to be tempered with much now, Jaga. And great to see Sundowns, being able to kill off the game very quickly, and then being able to now to make those changes, rest the likes of your Ribeiro, make sure that they are fresh for next game, because as you know, there's a lot of games coming. And to kill off the game quickly, it gives the coach leeway, to be able to make those changes, to be able to give your likes of Litlaku a chance to play, and a lot of guys that don't normally get a chance to play in games like this, the pity, the likes of Sales, when they come on, they want to do well, they want to score goals, but the guys are looking to kill the game off at that time. They're looking to make sure that there's no injuries that are coming in, unnecessary injuries, as like you saw with Obas, an unnecessary injury that he received there. And that could hamper Sundowns, because that was one player who could replace Ngwenya. So, yeah, it remains to be seen if that injury is serious or he can come back.
How is that vibe? You hear in other clubs, especially big clubs, the egos that come out, Mshage is alluding to, the competition for places being rested and all that. Kermit, you are Sales now, Shalulile, Rayners and Ribeiro are firing on all cylinders. And you are Sales and you have to go to training. How was that vibe? Even in your time, maybe you can share some stories from your time. How do you go to training knowing, I'm 4th choice, 5th choice?
Uh, yeah, it's not easy as an individual athlete. You're part of the greater good is a team. You know what I mean? And sometimes you get to start games. Sometimes you get to come on from the bench at games, and that's where you gotta help make the difference for the team. So it's how you see it as a player. You can go to training and suck and feel like you need to start ahead of players that are starting, or you can focus on yourself and try and improve yourself and focus on when you're given your chance, you grab it with both hands and create or as an attacker create or score a goal. I mean, there's nothing better than being given a chance and doing well with the chance you've given. So it's how you perceive it as an individual. We all are different. We all have different thinking about training, about who deserves to play, and we all feel that we deserve to play, no matter who's doing well or who's we're competing with. We all feel we're the best, and rightfully so. I think every individual should think like that. But when it comes to the team unit, you got to be honest with yourself also. Like Shakespeare said, the trio that's doing well, you got to support that. As if our Salis, you got to support that, and at the end of the day, you win together. You a team,
Yeah.
and if you get your opportunity and you get the opportunity to come on with players like that, you're bound to get a chance. So you just got to focus on yourself and keep being positive and try and add value to the team when you're given a chance. So that's just how it is.
Who manages the temperature in the room, Game Shaggy, in this case? Is it up to the coach to manage the temperature in the room, or is it going to be the captain? Who manages the temperature now? Because I'm Sales. I come all the way from Brazil, and I'm sure there's many players. Mkulise wants to play. Who manages that temperature now? Because you don't hear the stories come out, at Sundowns, but somehow, I'm sure there are butting heads somewhere.
No, definitely, Umjaka. As a professional footballer, you want to be on the field of play. You want to play, Saleh came with high expectations, and he's eager to make his mark in the team. But definitely the coach has to manage that, It's good headaches to have when guys are doing well, and scoring goals, So it's a challenge for Saleh as well, and for every player who's at Sundowns. You're playing for a big team, a team with a lot of ambitions, a team that's playing Club World Cup competitions that the best teams in the world are playing, So that there's going to be a lot of games to play, and you will get your chance. I think it's just important for you to always keep that mental strength and tell yourself that once you get that opportunity, you must score. If I have to look back when I was at Sundowns, I knew that, I'm playing against a lot of quality players, So when you get your chance, you must take it. You must show the hunger on the field, and try and get those goals. But for Saleh at the moment, he hasn't really kicked off. Again today didn't do him any favors that he came on and the score was already, they had already won the game, so they're not really pushing to score goals, But he needs to keep his mental strength and know that he's playing for a team that's ambitious to get a lot of results. A lot of competitions are being played, so he will get his opportunity, and he must just keep his head up.
Hi, let me go to an ad break. I want to come back from the ad break and talk about the injuries now, gents. They might be helping the coach make decisions, for the competition of places, but also there's a slight concern there at right back. Mutau out, Morena. I want to talk about Albas, how much he will be missed. The concern Bafana is coming up as well. Stability in the team. How is that going to disrupt the team? Because now somebody else is going to be trusted to do the job. But let's go to an ad break, pay some bills, and then we'll wrap it up nicely with those injuries. And then I want to talk about a little bit about Champions League and a little bit about Pirates.
Golden liquid pouring. Gold splashing. Gold swirling. Waves of gold foaming. Cut to reveal more gold. It's easy to make a beer that looks gold. But to make a beer that wins gold, that's a different story. Carling Black Label, Africa's most awarded beer.
Those Talking Sundowns by SoccerBeat, still hanging out with the legends. Kermit, Erasmus, and Shakes Ngwenya. Talking Sundowns, of course, gents. Really, really dominant performance. Galaxy will never talk smack again, I think, on social media, or even in there. It gave him a lot to think about, lots of food for thought there, to remind them. Big injuries, Kermit, for me, particularly Morena, with Mutau out, big decisions for Cardoso to make. He has to trust someone else now to do that job. And you know what Mutau and Morena offer this team.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a huge blow. Hopefully, it's not that serious, with Obas as well. Let's hope it's nothing too serious. It's just maybe some bruising that will keep them out for a couple of days. But I mean, there's capable players that can do it at right back. You know, you have Zuko, you know, that's done it a few times, and you have Kranke Kana as well. So they have the capacity, you know, they have the squad to replace it. And Keanu can also play at right back also, Cupido.
Yes.
So they have good replacements, you know. That's where his original position is. So, you know, they've got they've
Peterson.
Actually,
Yeah, Peterson,
you know, and Johannes also, you know, he's
Johannes,
also
yes.
another one that can exactly. So it's a lot of options. I mean, in midfield, I think the only headache would be Obas, because there's not really another robust holding midfielder or midfielder that can do the job like Ngwenya and Obas does it, you know. Because with the ball, I mean, anybody can play in that position when they have the ball. But without the ball, I think the way Obas and Ngwenya reads the game is a bit different to what they have in that position. So I think they've got to only rely now on Ngwenya for the remainder of the season, if it is serious, which we hope it's not. So yeah, there's a lot of replacements that can fill the gap. So I don't think it's much of so much stress for the coach, but just in midfield.
People talk a lot about the big signings that are made by Sundowns, and maybe this maybe is justifies now and shows everybody why Sundowns have to go to the market and get quality, because you have to replace quality for quality.
Definitely, Umjaka. It's like you read my words. That's exactly what I was about to say. You know, everybody keeps talking about how Sundowns is signing everybody, but look at all the injuries that Sundowns have now. Your Mvalas are out. You know, there's long-term injuries. Mshishi is out. Now Obas is injured. Tapelo, you know. So this is why you need to plan before the season, you know, knowing that Sundowns is going to play so much competition, so many games, and you need the depth in the team, you know, especially because you're not only competing in the PSL, you're competing in the Champions League, you're competing in the Club World Cup. So you definitely need a big squad, you know. Players are going to get injured, and let's hope Obas, it's not too serious. Let's hope it's just bruising, because he's a very valuable player within the team. And like Kermit just said, he's for me the only replacement for Ngwenya, the way he plays, the way he's able to cover space and read the game, you know, and also he's got goals in him.
Big decisions with Sekhukhune coming up, same profile as Galaxy, but a little bit more, just as dangerous as Galaxy as well. Same approach, Kermit, even though you're going to make changes, same approach as today?
Look, the coach, I don't care what the coach do with the back 6 or 7 players, as long as he leave the front 3. The front 3 we agreed on, as long as he leaves that front 3, I don't care who he puts anywhere else. He can play around with what he has. He can be creative, but he must leave that front 3. That's all I ask, please.
The big risk as well. The big risk, Umjaka, as well. Bringing Kekana and all those guys. They're on 3 yellow cards, you know. They're on 3 yellow cards. And there's Chiefs after Sekhukhune, you know. So there's that to consider as well. Do you risk them, Umjaka?
You know what? You put them in. Alande has been in. He's had 3 yellow cards. He was in today. You put them in. You can't think about that other, because the same 3 points that you're getting against Sekhukhune, the same 3 points you want at Chiefs, you know. So you've got to put them in. Put your best team in, you know, and go for the 3 points. If a player gets a yellow card, then another one comes on.
Aye. Because we got a big decision and big conversation to have after Sekhukhune, because after that it's Kaizer Chiefs. Thank you, Kermit. Thank you, Umjaka. This was Talking Sundowns by SoccerBeat.
What makes a city? Is it the roads? Is it the rivers or canals?
Nah. It's the people, mate. You lot, the passionate ones.
The ones who stand in the rain, and the sky blues under the blue skies.
You're part of this great city, wherever you may be.
SoccerBeat,